See if it works.
The broadcast is live. That's what it says.
It looks like it's working. All right. Yay.
Good. I'm so excited.
Okay. So hopefully everyone can see this. Just let me know in the comments if you can. Thank you all for coming. I'm Lynn from Bucket List Homestead, and I just want to make sure I don't have. Hopefully everyone can see this. Just let me know. There. Sorry, I'm just pausing the other one. Okay, it's working. I just checked it online. So, okay, thank you everyone for coming back this week after last week's little bit of technical difficulties. I hate technology. So tonight I have with me Tanya from Micro-homesteading with Jake and Tanya. They used to be Nightfall Homestead. Yep. They changed the name of their channel. So I'm just going to go ahead and have Tanya introduce herself to everybody.
My name is Tanya Tiernon. We live in central Iowa, and we live on less than an acre of property. And we have 6 kids. We have 8 dogs, probably the same amount of cats. And then we've got your traditional like chickens, goats, pigs, rabbits, stuff like that. And tons of gardens, market gardens, flower gardens, our personal garden, our kitchen garden. And that's what we do. We do a lot of woodworking. That's our primary source of income is woodworking. And yeah, we're just a regular Iowa family, I guess.
So you make that half acre work for you.
Yes, we very much do. You very much can do it. I think people think that when you homestead, you have to have tons of land, and you very much don't.
I mean, it's great if you do, but you don't have to have it. You know, right. We're proof of that too. We're on just a little less than 3 acres, so we don't have nearly as much as you. But so yeah, and yay for dogs. Ren's Homestead, they have 6 dogs. We just have 1 dog. I'd have more, but I'm just I'm gonna say hi to Little Homestead by the Beach, and I'm gonna thank Marilyn. She is going to be a mod for us tonight. So if we get any trolls or anything, she'll be kicking them out.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I'm going to say hi to Jean. Hi, Jean. Thanks for stopping in. And who else we got? Remy. Hi, Remy. Thanks for coming in. I know it's hard because there's 2 of us in our little Canadian homesteading YouTube group that is also doing a live tonight.
Oh, yeah.
So I appreciate you guys stopping by. Hi, CRT. Thanks for coming. And have I gotten everybody? I don't want to forget anyone. I think that's it for now. Okay. So I thought tonight we just talk about, because as Tanya said, you don't need a lot of property. I thought we talk about why we homestead and what's the reasons for it. So I guess my first question to you be, why do you homestead?
So I kind of thought about this over the past week, and I think there's not one answer that fits it. It's a whole bunch of things kind of combined. And it kind of started, I grew up in a really small town, population less than 150. And so we were always gardening. My uncles farmed. We had access to pigs and chickens. I worked in hog barns as a teenager and a young adult out of school. And so that was very normal for me, not Jake. Jake's very much from the city. His dad's a banker, like he's the complete opposite. But after our kids were a little bit older, Memphis was maybe 2. I'm like, we're moving to the city. Go into the city, gonna see what it's all about. So we did, and we loved it there. I loved the city. Everything was accessible. Anything you needed, it was there. And it very much had its perks. We lived there for about, 3 years. And my oldest daughter came home from a field trip to a place called Living History Farms, where they get to go, see cows and make candles and stuff like that. And she said, Mom, I saw a cow poop today. And I said, what? She said, I saw a cow poop today. I'm like, you have seen a cow poop? She's like, no, I haven't. I said, yes, you have. She said, no, I haven't. And right then I'm like, we have to do something different. My kid has not ever seen a cow poop. And in this city, they even have classes through the school, an academic course to teach kids how to go fishing. And to me, that was insane. Like, why do these kids not know how to fish, So that moved us back to Winterset. It's not quite small where we were. It's kind of in between. So we have access to the city, but we're in the middle of everything. So we lived in town for a little while. We had chickens. the town said, nay, no chickens. And so then we got this property just right outside of town. And then we got one goat. We quickly learned you need more than one because they're herd animals. And so that just snowballed from that. And then it was like, how much money can we save doing this? And like, this cool, we have our own eggs. Let's get a girl goat. Let's make some milk. Let's make soap. Let's make all the things. And it's just snowballed into something that was kind of like a hobby at first and just kind of basic knowledge for my kids. So they didn't grow up not seeing cows go to the bathroom. And now it's a health and money situation. Like we're saving money and doing things for ourselves to promote ourselves to be healthier and for the planet. You learn a lot when you're homesteading, and it's very important. All of that is a big ball of everything. It all goes together. It's just a big cycle.
I find whenever anyone asks me or I ask anyone that question, why you homestead, it's never like a one word simply answer. There's usually quite a few. So.
Right. And we didn't like let's homestead. Let's buy this place and homestead it. It wasn't like that at all. It just kind of, I guess, accidentally happened and just kind of kept going.
Yeah.
And now we teach other people, how to homestead. I think people are very intimidated by the word homestead.
I think they are too. I think they are. And they have, I think they think of like Dallas,
right.
The TV show Dallas, and they're on this big ranch. And I mean, we only have chickens. We don't have the cows and the pigs or anything because we're not quite set up for that and saying, but I've sourced out places where we can get them from our local farmers. So we're still
and you don't need any other animals. You don't need any animals, to be quite honest. If you don't have even chickens, you can still homestead.
Yeah. And Jean, I just want to say, I totally understand if you have to leave. A new baby coming into this world is more important than being here for a life. Yes. So that's fine. So, okay. Sorry, the lighting in here is terrible. And I got new contacts and a new prescription this week.
Yep.
I'm now at that age where I have to hold things like this now.
Same. Me too. And I lost my glasses for 2 days until this morning. I put out a reward with the kids. I said, I'll give someone $5 if you can find my glasses. And they're clear, so good luck. And Memphis found them.
Yeah, it's just, he says, I can give you a prescription, he said, where you see far away, or because what they had done before was they gave me one eye weaker and one eye stronger so I could see up close and far away, but it was messing with my vertigo.
Oh,
like,
I
had such a hard time.
Yep.
And we finally realized we think it might be that. So now I said, I'd rather see things far away. And if I have to do this for the rest of my life, well, that's what I'm going to have to do.
Yeah.
So I guess the next question is, what is your favorite part of homesteading? Another easy question, but
I think a lot of people, and this is just through like seeing people on YouTube. I think a lot of people find it difficult, like the seclusiveness, like being alone and not being able to leave. But I actually like that. Like I enjoy not going the places. Like before the pandemic and everything, like not that I dislike people. I'm not even like against being in crowds of people because I'll take over the whole show wherever we're at and talk to anybody. But I just like being at home. This is where I like to be. And that's my favorite part, just being here. We have a lot of kids and a lot of animals. It takes more work for me to leave. Ugh, people just don't understand. My ex-mother-in-law, she would be like, just pack up the kids and come down. It'll be fun. Just come relax. I'm like, no, like it just is not easy. It's just not easy.
No.
So I like being at home.
We like being at home too. I mean, the pandemic didn't change our social life.
Yep. Same. It wasn't hard for us to adjust at all. It wasn't.
I remember seeing a meme at the time that said, there's nothing like a stay-at-home order to make you realize that your life hasn't changed a whole lot.
Right. In fact, ours got busier. We do home decor and like wood furniture. And I don't know what money these people had if everybody was like off work, but people went crazy. I had to shut down our Etsy shop because that was because it got so busy. It was so out of control. Like unless I hired people to come help me, I was just never going to catch up.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah, no. So we like being home too. I mean, I agree with you. I think that's why you and I get along so well because we have so much in common. And it's not that when I do go out, I don't mind going out, getting it done, but like, I'm like, okay, we're done. Let's go back. Like,
Right.
and like
Jake
you said,
and I,
it's hard to pack up because especially for you. And I consider it like, you know, it's like when we got chickens, I did a lot of research before we did them because these are they're a living creature.
right.
So I considered it, you know, like it's, you know, a special kind of, oh, sorry, my memory, the word I'm looking for is there. I just can't think of it.
Responsibility.
Thank you. Responsibility that you take on. So you need to, you know, take care of them. And you can't, unless you have someone who can look after them for you, you can't just go away for overnight.
Right. And I think people that don't homestead or don't have animals very much don't understand that. For example, Jake and I went out looking for mushrooms yesterday. We were only gone for an hour. And when we pulled in the driveway, we saw that the propane guy was here filling the propane tank. So we went back there to talk to him or whatever. The dogs were barking at him, so we wanted to hush them up. And we noticed that our pig didn't come out of the pig pen. And she's like one of the dogs. She wants to be the attention, you know. And I'm like, where's Charlotte? And while we were gone, that hour that we were gone, she had gotten out. Not only was she out, but 3 of our chickens were also out. So just in that hour's time, like imagine if we had gone to the city. You know, like we had no idea. We would have never known. And we live by a busy highway. If those animals get out, they are 100% going to get to the highway and get ran over or hurt someone, you know?
Yeah. Were you able to get her and everything? And
oh, yeah. She's just like a dog. Once we found her back behind the property in the cornfield. And we were like, Charlotte, come on. And she came running to us and stuff. So thank goodness.
I seen your video with her. What you were scratching. She was like untying. Was that the one that was untying your laces?
Yep. Yep. She's awesome. She really thinks she's a dog.
That's funny. That's good. I love it. I love it. I'm just reading some of the comments. It seems to be homesteaders seem to have a lot in common where we were all social distancing before it was cool.
Right. That's true. It's very true.
And Ren, I have to admit, we weren't super social either. And it's because a lot of people tend to think we're crazy. Why would you live like and everyone thinks we're living like on Little House on the Prairie.
My kids are even like that. Like we live this every day, and my kids are like, "Mom, we don't have to live like Laura Ingalls Wilder. We can buy bread." I'm like, you're just gonna get over it because this is how we're doing things. or they'll tell their friends, "We can't buy bread. We're poor." I'm like, why are you telling them that? We have buckets of flour. We can make all the bread. Don't tell them we can't afford bread.
Yeah, I laugh because at this house, like, you know, like our son especially, why do you make bread? We can just go down to the convenience store even and buy it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I have failed. I have failed as a mother that you don't realize it's so much better what I'm making.
I keep telling them, like, once you're 40, you will understand why I'm doing these things. Yeah, you'll understand one day.
Yeah, we will. Okay, what was my next question? Okay, so we talked about your favorite. What's your least favorite? What is it you don't like about homesteading?
I don't like when animals get sick or there is an injury. I mean, of course you have to cull them to harvest them, but I don't like the goats when we first got them. And I left that up to Jake because there was a lot that went into it, like their iron levels and they need these shots every however often. And you have to trim their hooves. Like there was a lot that went into it. It was much more difficult than just having chickens. I mean, chickens are their own thing, but it just was, it's just scary. And not knowing we had our first goat that we got, Waffles, he just died in the middle of the night, and we still don't know why. And we don't know if it was something that we did or didn't do. And so stuff like that, that's the only like casualty we've had. But yeah, it's just, chickens. We've had some chickens. Well, they got attacked. That's before we had the guardian dog, the livestock guardian dog. Those were our meat birds. We had how many did we even have? 17 of them. We had them in a chicken tractor and woke up one morning and they were all dead, like scattered all over. All their heads were gone. Our first batch of meat chickens that we got. So we got a livestock guardian dog. It was exactly like a horror movie.
Oh gosh, that's awful.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Our chickens, we had a heat wave, quite a couple of heat waves last summer. And one of our chickens, just like chickens handle the cold much better than they handle the heat. And one definitely was showing signs of the heat stroke. And I have this electrolyte mixture that I mix up and put in their water, but we couldn't get her to drink. So we said, that's it. Got AC in the house. We brought her in, put her in a box, kept her calm, and we literally like dropped the electrolyte water mixture down her. But I'm telling you, for 2 days, I couldn't sleep. All I could think of was are we going to lose this chicken because of heat stroke?
It's not abnormal to have animals in the house, chickens or goats or whatever.
Yeah, because I didn't want to, I just like, oh, come on. And it happened one more time with the same chicken later in the summer. She just does not. So I am going to make sure I am on the ball. I'm going to have my because here I am making up the electrolyte mix. I'm like, no, I already had it made. So yeah, but you learn more from your failures than you do your successes, right?
That's very true, because it's going to happen. And you think like, oh, chickens can't be hard. And they're not hard, but there's a lot to learn. There's a whole lot to learn.
Yeah. And I mean, and one of the reasons I love donkeys, especially mini donkeys. I adore them. And I'm sure it's because of Winnie the Pooh and Eeyore. I love Eeyore. But we are so wet here. The chicken coop right now is like a mud pit because we've had nothing but rain. Or I guess the last 2 days we haven't had rain, but it's been below freezing. But anyway, it's so wet, and I worry about them getting the problems with their hooves because I know we're being in wet ground all the time. So that's one of the reasons we don't. It's one of the big reasons we don't have more animals, because I know I don't want to chase that forever. The hoof problems. So
and then create more work for yourself. Yeah.
So, I had a couple more people come in. I just want to say hi to Tracy. Thanks for coming in. And hi, Jeff. Thank you for coming in. I've known Jeff for years. Jeff has a great channel called Inside My Canoe Head on Instagram, and he started it up on YouTube again. And he talks about preparedness, but he doesn't like being called a prepper.
Jake is that way. I'm going to send Jake to his channel. Jake listens to them all night long. And I kind of bust his chops, like nothing's even going to happen.
Yep. He's not like this whole, doom and gloom. Like he's great.
Jake's the same way.
Known him a long time. We met when we first moved to Trenton. Him and his wife Paula, and Jeff was in the military too. So he's got I think he'll like it. It's a podcast, and it's on YouTube, and it's on Instagram. So I just want to give a shout out to Jeff. So he just did a live on Instagram. I was over there before my live.
Nice.
Okay. So
what's his channel again, Lynn? What's it called?
Inside My Canoe Head.
Inside My Canoe Head. Jake's going to go subscribe right now.
Oh, okay. There you go, Jeff. So my next question is, and this is too nosy, you don't have to answer it, but do you guys make any kind of income from your homesteading?
Yes, we do. It started off very slow. That's something I think that people, I think younger people that maybe think I'm going to be done with the city and I'm going to go get a homestead and I'm going to be self-sufficient on my homestead. And that's wonderful news, but it's just not going to happen like that. And it's very gradual. First, you start with some eggs, and then you could do some hatching eggs, and then maybe sell some chickens. And now we have and there's so many regulations. So it's very difficult to get around them as far as meat goes. But with your friends and family and not on Facebook or whatever. Right. We definitely make income, not anything to support us. Our woodworking stuff does that, but it's definitely profitable. At least my thing is, if we can make up for the feed costs that we have, especially through the winter time, then I'm good with that, because then essentially it's free, we are getting free eggs and free meat and whatever.
Yeah. That's the only thing I like. If I can pay, if I sell the eggs and it just pays for the chicken's feed, I am happy.
Same.
So, that's my main thing too.
We did add cut flowers. So I'm super hopeful that we have some, and we sell our seedlings. I have market garden seedlings. But May 1st is the week of May 1st is when we'll start selling those things. And then cut flowers will be later in the month.
Awesome. I'm hoping to sell, because I have 106 sweet basil plants alone. There's no way I'm planting all those.
Yep. And I saw someone on Facebook here locally, a Winterset swap page or whatever. she's selling her seedlings right there on Facebook. So
I think plants are still okay. I've seen lots of people selling. It's just anything to do with an animal right now. Fur, meat, feathers, anything to do with an animal. Animals themselves, they're not allowing you to sell them. So so no, I hope, I'd love to have like just a little stand at the end of the driveway with the cut, bunches of cut flowers, things like that. Just just because I do have so much, and I give a lot away too. Me too. A lot away. For sure.
I gave one of our roosters away the other day. I told Jake, I said, go catch that third rooster that's in the main lane. He said, why? I'm like, I'm going to give it to one of my friends. She's looking for a Brahma rooster. And he was like, okay. Like, he was just an extra rooster and we had to keep them separated anyway. So
no, that's great. That's great. And I think that's one thing I love. I love the barter system. Like, I've got all this, you got this, you want to trade a couple of plants for, that's like wonderful. And I love the homesteading community too, because if you ask somebody a question and you don't know it, they will totally direct you to someone who does. Like I've never had anyone make me feel stupid for a question I've asked or anything. So the homesteaders are awesome. And I think it doesn't matter if it's American homesteaders or Canadian. I think, we're all, trying to do the same thing.
I would never know that you guys are Canadian until I hear you talk. And then I'm like, let's go check and see where they're from.
Yeah. I will say my children say that my husband says my accent is Americana because it's Canadian with a little bit of American twang. Cause
I would say that too.
Yeah. I get a lot when I used to work at the auto shop towing place, and I'd have to answer the phone from different places in the States, and I'd have people say, are you from Texas? And I'm like, how do you hear Texas in my voice?
That's great.
Okay, what's my next question here? Anything you want to add to the homestead that you don't have yet?
Bees. We tried last year to do bees. We want to catch our own swarm, and we failed at that. I don't know why, but I have just got this book on Audible. It's called Bee Democracy. That's right. Bee Democracy. I'm pretty sure it's Bee Democracy. And you will learn so much about bees. It's kind of like goats or chickens. Like you watch these YouTube videos like, oh, just go put a box in a tree with a little hole in it with some lemon scented stuff and you'll catch a swarm. And it's just not that easy.
No. And I mean, I've been wanting to do bees for a couple of years now. And we really thought we were going to pull the trigger and do it this year. And then the lady I reached out to that I'm going to volunteer with, she has 10 hives. She lost 8 of them.
Oh, yeah. And I read this morning, or I listened this morning, that it's very common for overwintering for those hives to not last. It's very common.
And she honestly told me, she said, I don't know if I have it in me, she said, to do this again. Because she said, this is the second or third time. And the majority of people in our area, we've got about an 80% loss right now on bee hives. Like that is just, I don't know if I have that in me.
I know. And I watched videos of people opening their hives with just all the dead bees in them. It's super sad.
So sad. It's so sad. And it's a lot of work. Like, you put the work into it and your heart and soul into this. And then to have them. So I think we're going to hold off another year. I'm going to go volunteer with her through the year and see how she does put them up for the winter. So I know exactly what we're doing. And then we're hoping maybe next spring, because we go through a lot of honey.
We do too. Tons and tons of honey.
And I'd love to be able to have my own.
Same. And there's a local place here where we get our honey from. And we reached out to them last year just for like, hey, can you like teach us some stuff? And they kind of got offended. Like we were going to try to run against their honey business, like, no, we don't, we're not going to do that. We just want to eat our own honey, like,
yeah. I don't plan on selling it. I mean, because believe me, we'll go through anything we.
Yep. And I think one hive would be sufficient. I mean, I guess I don't know. Yes, I do. They said today in that book, I think that one hive can produce up to 50 of those little honey bear jars. We probably go through more than that. So maybe 2 hives, you think?
Yeah. So the mentor I talked to, they recommend, they said 1 hive is good, but 2 hives, they kind of help each other kind of thing. Kind of like, 2 different.
And they do that.
So
it's like
yeah.
a whole community. If you guys haven't watched and I know this maybe sounds lame to people that aren't as interested in bees, but for real, if you go check out YouTube channels and just type in "catching a swarm of bees," this guy and his fiance they set a trap in their yard. They lived in town even, and because there's not bees in town, but he noticed that the bees were kind of like buzzing around his little thing, and they have like actual bees that are the house hunters. That's their job. That's their only job, is to go out and look for a potential living space that is the safest and the best place to live. So he noticed that happening, and him and his wife stood out there and watched, and you could literally, I'm getting goosebumps telling you about it. You could literally see like this cloud, and you could hear it, of bees just coming to his hive, and they just bearded up all around it. Like the little bees that were there at first went and told all the other bees, like, here it is, come move into this hive. And it was insane to watch it.
Well, I mean,
so
I know
cool.
I did do a little online bee course back in February with one of the local places here, and I learned a lot. But something like that, though, I find it's hard online. But one of the things he taught us is how they specifically hatch out bees that just vibrate their wings and stuff all winter long to keep the rest of the bees alive and warm. I'm like, I mean, these bees are better than human beings.
Right. And did you know that the queen bee, at some point during the cycle of everything, she just eats. That's all she does. So she gets really fat, And so they have specific bees that have this job of like, they get on top of her and like push her around and gently bite her and stuff to like get her to exercise inside the hive, to where she's skinny enough again, she can fly again. Like they make her work out. They're her little workout partners.
I need some of those in my own house coming to me.
Same. It's just really cool. It's really cool to learn about.
Yeah, and I also saw a video the other day, and this will be the last thing I say about bees, where a bee fell into the honey and it was drenched. And the farmer put
it off.
He put it up on the shelf, and all the other bees came and ate it all off him, and he saved him, and he flew off and started. And I'm like, I mean, I got emotional just because I thought, my gosh, here they are, an insect, and they look after one another better than we do as human beings.
No, bees know what's up. Like if everybody in the world like took some lessons from how bees live and work together, we would be a better place.
I think we would. I absolutely think you're right. So, one of the questions I was going to ask you, you kind of didn't touch on it, but you said you were were you raised homesteading, and you said you were, like, you had gardens and animals.
Yes, we always had gardens and animals. Always had gardens, big, huge gardens. My grandparents, I mean, it was a thing. Like we all lived in this small town. My grandparents and their 3 boys, and then all of us grandkids, and we all would go up there and help Grandpa weed. And of course, we do things way different than they did back then. But we had 2 big gardens, in fact, and potatoes, like so many potatoes. But that was my grandma's way of like making sure all of us had food. It was just very much a thing.
Yeah. I grew up, I had working parents. My dad was in full-time military, and my mom worked too full-time. She worked part-time at one point too, because full-time was just hard being full-time work and being a mom. You totally get that, And my grandmother on my mother's side, she always had a huge garden down at camp, and we would go and help her. And I can remember eating the cucumbers and the peas right there in the dirt.
Yep. Same.
Instead of picking weeds, that's what we were doing. And they did a lot of canning.
Yes.
I wouldn't say we canning. Yeah, I didn't really necessarily help with the canning. I mean, we certainly ate the canning, but I wish I had thought to say, Nanny, can I, help you and see what you're doing and stuff. But I always remember she was always scared to pressure can. And that's why I was so scared forever.
Me too. I didn't pressure can for a long, long time, only because I was scared of the canner.
Yeah, because she'd tell me how, when she was a little girl, her mother's pressure can exploded and it went everywhere. So I was always scared. Now, of course, before I'm doing my research, because I'm a research girl, they're made to like the valves and everything. They can't do that anymore. So that made me like, okay, this is it. And I love it. I made supper tonight. I made a corn chowder because it's so cold here. I thought we might as well have one more nice hot meal.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I love chowder.
Oh, and I used potatoes that I pressure canned a couple months ago, and you never would know the difference. And I'm like, oh, this was such a convenient meal. It took me all of 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, we did that yesterday.
Yep, awesome. So I definitely am planning much more pressure canning this year. I
want more jars. I don't know where I'm going to put all the jars, but like I need more jars. All the sizes. I have plenty of quarts and like what are those, pints?
Pints, yep.
I want like small ones.
Oh, the little half jellies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did have some half pints, but honestly, we go through so much jelly that the full size.
I was thinking for like Christmas gifts, because I always see like when Christmas comes around, they're always like things that you can use on your homestead as Christmas gifts, because that's saving money too, because Christmas is expensive. I would love to just give out some jellies or whatever for Christmas.
Yeah. My family would love it, but we don't live close enough, and I'm not shipping jars.
Right.
I don't like giving I'm going to let you in a little secret. I guess everyone's going to know. I don't like giving my canned stuff away because people don't give me my jars back.
Right. Yes, that's very true. That is very true. That's good thinking. Maybe I don't want to do it that way.
I mean, it sounds terrible, but they've been the cost of them here. And when I was in Florida last month, surprising my mom, I went and looked because, of course, I want to price them. They are not any cheaper, at least in my parents' part of Florida. They were not any cheaper there than what I'm paying here in Canadian money. Like I was like, it is like $14 and $17 for cases of mason jars that 4 or 5 years we were paying maybe $7 or $8.
Yeah, and the rings and the lids are super duper hard to find.
Yep. And I'd love those 4-jar lids that I see all the American homesteaders that are trying and using. They look amazing. They're an American company that they started a company. They're actually Ukrainian. They're a Ukrainian family in the States. They've been in the States a long time, and they couldn't find lids. So they decided, you know what, let's make our own. And it became a business during the pandemic. And
is it the ones you can reuse over and over again?
No, those are Tattlers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. These are just the metal ones, but everyone's talking about the silicone around them is like the best they've ever seen. They've had 100% success rate, no failures, but the shipping to Canada is more than the jar lids.
Why is shipping to Canada so crazy? Like, what's the deal?
I know, it's just crazy. So I did luck out, and we had a grocery store who clearanced because I needed the wide mouth lids. I needed them because I love the wide mouth lid jars. I love them.
Same. You can't wash the other ones. You have to have a like baby bottle washer.
Yep. They're easier to wash. They're easier to fill. I don't know. I just like them. And they clearanced the lids half price. Yeah. And I'm like, why? They're probably changing the box, like the color of the box.
Oh yeah. Probably something simple.
I bought a ton of them, and I figured it out. It ended up being like 8 cents a lid or something like that by the time I was done.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I should be good for but I've been getting a lot of my jars at the thrift stores, but they're starting to go up now. The thrift stores are starting to charge a lot of money for the mason jars.
Yep. Luckily, we had a friend in town. I don't even know why she had so many jars. I don't know if she used to can and then stopped, but she gave us a whole bunch of them. Of course, not like the rings and lids with them, but just a ton of jars.
Yeah.
So that was awesome.
I know. I think that a good thing, and I got a bunch last summer with a woman whose mother was going into long-term care. So she couldn't can anymore. So I hit the jackpot with her and got, she even threw, and I even got like the pressure canner. Unfortunately, the pressure canner I got with that wouldn't work on my stove because I have an induction oven.
Yeah.
I hate my oven. I hate it. Anyway, if I'd only known about induction ovens 5 years ago when we bought it, I would never have bought one. But the salesperson made it sound like, you like to cook, you like to bake, and it made it sound like this is the kind of oven we need.
That just goes along with it. You learn all this stuff. Like you can't have one of those ovens in order if you want to pressure can stuff.
Yeah, I had to buy all new pots and pans. None of our pots and pans would work on it.
That's
Yeah. So no. yeah, so I definitely plan on doing a lot more canning this year. I'm going to try bell peppers, pressure canning bell peppers. I usually freeze them, but I thought, let's try pressure canning some, because even having them like canned is even quicker than having them frozen. So
something different we're going to do this year, because we always end up with so many jars of tomato juice, tomato paste, tomato this, tomato that, tomatoes, like, and I feel like all of my jars are going to tomatoes, and then I can't can bell peppers,
Right.
So we're going to dehydrate majority of our tomatoes this year and create a powder with them. So then if we want tomato juice, we just add water enough to make tomato juice. If we want tomato paste, add a little bit of less water. That's what we're going to do. We're going to try that out.
I have a new dehydrator. I picked one up at a thrift store for $10. Like, I got it. It's the kind, because my old one, you just turned it on and walked away. This one has all the different temperatures.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to try the tomatoes for tomato paste, because, man, I just making tomato paste the regular way, it takes forever to get all that.
Doing anything
out.
Tomato in canning takes forever. And then it makes me like hate tomatoes by the end of the summer. I even told Jake last summer, we are not planting tomatoes next year. No tomatoes. We're not having them. And here we are, a million tomato plants.
I mean, we have pizza every Friday night, and our pizza sauce is tomato paste. And, I buy it from Costco, and I buy it organic. But if I can be making it my own, and so, yeah, I'm on board. I'm going to try tomatoes too. We'll try it together, and we'll see how it works.
It'll save us some jars.
Yep, I want to do some. I'm going to try and do some more dehydrating too. So because I mean, canning is wonderful, but the jars take up a lot of space.
Right. Absolutely. And I'm running out of space. Like right now we have jars in the garage, even like cases of jars. Like,
yeah, I do too.
Where am I going to put these after I put food in them?
I know. And I can't keep mine in the garage in the winter when there's food in them, it gets too cold and they'll burst. And so I can't keep them. And so our other room here is turning into more and more of a pantry.
Oh, once the kids move, we will have lots and lots of room. We'll have a craft room and a spare bedroom and a guest room. Like we'll have all the things. A walk-in pantry.
Oh, yeah, I hear you. I know. I have a good sized pantry. It's just one half of mine is our laundry room too.
Yeah.
So
I would like ours to be in the laundry room, but our water heater and our furnace is back there. Okay. And it's not like in its own little room, and it's so ugly back there. I hate our laundry room. So for right now, I'm just mad at the laundry room, and it's just the laundry room.
We're hoping we want to bump our washer and dryer more into the garage. So
I can
have a little more of its own space, and then I can really have shelves on both sides full of the pantry. But those things take money, and 2x4s have gone through the roof here again. I don't know about in the States, but it's gone nuts here again.
We have people that routinely buy stuff from us, furniture and decor and stuff. And some of them, we'll give them a quote on whatever they're wanting. And they will literally like be in shock. And we're like, listen, we're not putting those prices up. Like that's how much extra it costs now versus then to make this. Otherwise we don't make any money,
I know. We want to put a sunroom on so bad. Like I dream of it, for goodness sakes, like literally. But the quotes we're getting is, and I'm not willing to put it on no matter what. Nope. If I have to wait another year, I will. Like I just, it is. I'm not going to pay an extra $15,000 because the price.
We have a privacy fence that literally just has the post in it. That's it. because we're not going to go buy the wood the way it is right now. We're just not.
And I just don't know what's driving it up now. Like
I don't know either. Why is the wood so expensive?
What's the deal now? So
Jake doesn't know. He's scratching his beard like, I don't know.
I mean, and Chris and Larry, hello. I forgot to say hi when you came in, and you're right. You never argue prices with customers because you are a value. It's one of the reasons I stopped selling my crochet, because it just, and I didn't even sell anywhere near what I should have been. But just
I know.
And everyone's like, oh, could you make me a baby blanket? And I'm like, I'd love to make you one, but the yarn alone is going to be $50 to $75 just for the yarn. That's before I make any money off of it.
Right.
So and they're like, oh, that's too much. And I'm like, well, that's why I don't sell
baby blankets. Time. It takes time. Like today, all day today, all I did was sand and torch wood. That's all I did for 6 or 7 hours, you know? And on this bench in particular, or this order, it was a bench and a couple of chairs. We didn't profit very much, like less than $100. So even just the work that I put into it today, that's not counting the work Jake's done cutting it, you know? It just, we didn't make any money from it.
No, it's hard. And I only make baby blankets for gifts now. Like we just sent our niece is having the first grand nephew in the family. So she just got it actually yesterday. I just got a message from her saying that she got it. So yep, that's all I do. I just make them for gifts now. And occasionally I make pumpkin hats in the fall, baby newborn pumpkin hats. They were coming out of my ears last year. I didn't want to see the color orange ever again because they were very popular. And I'm smart. I've been making them slowly over the last few months. So we have a stockpile ready for September.
Yes. Good idea.
But now I'm getting busy with garden season. So crocheting is done. So, well, I hope we're getting busy. I was just saying to Dave the other day, I'm at the stage of gardening now where I'm feeling overwhelmed.
Same.
There's so many plants. It's exhausting watering them pretty much every other day.
It's not just me. Last night I went to bed and did not water my plants at all yesterday. And I'm like, please be alive tomorrow. Please be alive tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. And I'm just like, and turning on the lights every day because I bought more grow lights and I almost get to the point where you're so overwhelmed. At least this has been my experience the last couple of days where I get nothing done. Because I'm so overwhelmed, I can't even pick one thing, right? It's just
I'm exactly the same way.
And I'm only one person. My husband still works full time, and I hate that he spent all of his weekends off working. So he's pretty much, but it's just, and this is the thing with the homestead, and I think people need to understand this too. There's always something. There's always a project.
There's never nothing to do. There's always something to do.
There's always something because our son's always saying, Saturday and Sunday are supposed to be days to relax. And I'm like, it's the only time Daddy
Those are our busiest days. That's when we do the most stuff.
Yeah. So, and I'm so looking forward to being able to take these plants and visit them outside.
Yep. I put all of our sprout house plants today out on, actually I didn't do it. I had the girls do it because I was doing stuff outside with the wood. And I saw a couple of bent plants, like broken ones, like they dropped them and didn't tell me, but they were peppered, but I have so many of them. So it's okay. But anyways, I took the sprout house stuff and finally moved it out to the porch. It has been consistently warm here, like at least above 60, not at nighttime. It gets down to like 50s and then in the evenings and at night, but maybe it's here. I hope so.
Today, I've been looking ahead, and this was our last, like even in the nights, it doesn't look like we're going to go even into freezing. It looks like we're staying into the 40s. So I'm hoping maybe in a week I can start.
Is it windy there in Canada?
Oh, here in Trenton, we say it all the time. Chicago has nothing on us being the windy city.
It is so bad here.
All the time. And it can come out of nowhere.
Why can't it be windy at nighttime? Like be windy and rainy at nighttime. During the daytime, just make it nice.
Oh, I'm just looking. Tracy, he lives in New York. And he said that he's actually all off grid. That's really
amazing.
Cool. Yeah. He just went to turn on the little heater in his greenhouse and it was only 36 degrees Fahrenheit.
Whoa. Yeah, we had that last week. It was like 6 inches we had like tornadoes and stuff, and then the next day 6 inches of snow. It was crazy.
It's insane. And the Farmer's Almanac did say this was kind of the year we would have, and it's been that way. So absolutely. I will say I'm not looking forward to moving all the plants in and out.
Hardening them off is the suckiest process.
Especially when you've done as many as I have.
I have lots. I didn't expect
everything to germinate. I know it's a good thing to have. It's a good problem to have, but like seriously, 100 and like I said, it's like 106 sweet basil. Like, and I didn't even plant them all.
I have some pepper plants. I don't know what I was doing, but some of my cups have like 6 pepper plants in them. So I not only have a billion pepper plants, but now I have to like separate them all into more cups. Like, why? Why did I put all those seeds in there?
I got to do that. I actually have some coming up. I'm like, wait a minute. There's 4 of you in there. What the heck?
Yep. So I have my work definitely is cut out for me. And I've been patching up holes in the screens, which has been very helpful, by the way. I have not seen a ton of flies in here like we normally do because I've been patching up, like small holes in our screens. I'm telling you, they're getting in through there. And then I use lemon essential oil around the edge of the screen before you put it back in the window. And that seems to be helping. So we also have lemongrass that's in their little sprout cups that I'm going to plant outside too. So hopefully that will help. Man, the flies, I cannot stand them here.
Yeah. Well, that's because of the chicken farm near you, right?
Yep. Yeah. And it's been awful. And it makes you feel like, what am I doing wrong? Like you're telling your kids, pick up your cup. Don't leave that wrapper there. Like you think maybe they're coming because of something that you have here, Or my brother will be like, you do have chickens. No, this is not an ordinary fly problem. This is out of this world.
The chickens don't live in the house.
Right. And the flies are bad outside too, bad outside, but I don't want them in here.
We have the, it's not ladybugs. It's the Asian beetle. They look like a ladybug, but they're almost orange and they're terrible. They don't hurt you or anything. They're just a nuisance because literally I'll be laying in bed and I'm like, and there'll be one cry and I'm like, are you kidding me? And
we have stink bugs here really bad right now for some reason.
And I know that these Asian beetles, if the dogs do get them, it can make them sick. Of course.
Our
dog's not eating bugs because if it's not real meat, he's not eating it.
Our boxer would get them up underneath his big flappy cheeks. He would get them up underneath there.
Yeah, so we have that problem, and they like the moisture in anywhere there's any moisture in the windows because that's where they go to get a drink. And and they just,
and that's where I always find them too, is up in the window, the little cracks of the windows.
Yeah, and they can get, like you said, they get through anything. If they can, they'll get through anything. So I know it's just it's like fruit flies here too in the summer. Once it gets warm, I don't buy bananas. We don't, or we buy whatever we're gonna buy, we're eating that day because I can't keep I've done everything. I've got the apple cider vinegar traps. I've got it just doesn't. They don't go away. They just don't.
Yep. So, and there's always and then where do they come from? Do they know we have bananas on our counter? Where are they coming from?
They weren't there before, so they must be in the bananas. Is the only thing
fruit fly finder or banana finders because we just have regular flies any other time. And so now these we call them pecker gnats, actually, is what we call them. These little pecker gnats are just flying around your bananas.
Now, do you guys have mosquitoes?
Yes, but Jake's last year they weren't so bad. And the ticks were not very bad last year either. His what? No, Jake gets bit, but I never get bit either. Jake gets bit a lot. My kids swell up so bad from mosquitoes.
Mine do too.
I don't know why. Memphis, if he gets bit anywhere on his face or his neck, his eyes will puff up.
Aiden.
Big.
Yep, that's Aiden. He does too. And Grace, she went on a field trip one time to this outdoor education center. And she had pants on and the mosquitoes got through her pants. She stayed home from school sick for 3 days. She actually ran a little fever and everything. Yeah. She had so many mosquito bites on her. It was miserable. And that's one of the reasons to this day, she's not a big outdoor girl. That totally did it for her. She's like, I don't like the bugs, Mom. That was it for her. We have a lot of water here. We have a wet property. So but we bought that mosquito eater, but the ticks and stuff, they say it's like the gypsy moth caterpillars. They have a 10-year cycle. You'll notice them really bad for a year or two, and then they'll die off and you won't notice them for another 10 years.
Do you remember how old are you my age? I'm 42.
I'm 40. I lie about my age so much I have to double check. Well, how old am I? I'm not kidding. I'm 46. I'm 46.
Okay, so you remember when we were younger? You haven't always lived in Canada, right?
No, I grew up in Maine.
Oh, maybe this wasn't a thing everywhere. Maybe it was just Iowa. We had one summer that there were grasshoppers, literally all over. You could not drive down the road without, they're all over the road. They would be all over your cars and stuff. I don't know what that was about. Like so many grasshoppers. Not locusts.
I keep waiting for the locusts to start because, I mean, you know, we got the crap that's been going on the last couple of years. Now we've got avian and flu. And I'm like, okay, what's the next thing? But when I was younger, we had a problem with just normal caterpillars. And they were so bad one year. I'll never forget the street, South Street. They would fall on the street and your car would be slipping.
Yeah.
There was that many you were running over.
That's
it was
crazy.
Disgusting.
And one year we had mayflies. I didn't even know mayflies existed. They're like little yellow or white, dainty little like flies. Just swarms and swarms of them.
Yeah, yes, Crystal Larry, I do. I mean, I never thought I would be the type to lie about my age. I really didn't. I didn't think I would.
I never lie about my age.
Yeah, I joke. I say I lie about my age, but I mean, I might just, you know, I'll say to the kid, you know, Aiden thinks he's funny because he likes to call us boomers. And I said, Aiden, we are not.
I know.
Boomers.
My kids call me a boomer too. I'm like, I am not.
They call anybody over 30 a boomer.
I am not a boomer. It's really offensive. Like, I am not a boomer.
I know. Yeah. And so I lie to them. I'll say, you know, how old?
Or they'll ask you questions like, did you have colored TV when you were a kid?
Yes, I know. Or did you guys have to listen to, what was he said? Did you guys have telephones? And I'm like, how do you think we are?
Right. Yes, we had all of these things.
I said, yes, we had to go like this with our telephone and we couldn't see who we were talking to on our telephone. Oh, yes, we had telephones.
Yep. That's awesome. Kids suck.
I can't wait until they have their own kids. Yeah, I know. As I said to Aiden, I said, you guys realize that you guys are kind of like our generation. I said, we didn't even have internet. Aiden.
No.
I said, we didn't. I mean, that really makes you feel old when you start
thinking. Or cell phones. I didn't have a cell phone until I was in high school.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even get one until I was married.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
And my cell phone in high school wasn't a cool cell phone. It's like prepay the minutes. Like it took a half of a unit for a text message. Like it was not cell phones like now.
Yes, the edge of here. You're exactly. That's what I tell them all the time. I said, you know, like I thought my mother was a boomer. So I guess it's not even my mother because I guess it's people. Yeah, no, yeah, it would be. Yeah, it's people in their 70s and stuff that are boomers, and I'm like, I'm not a boomer. Right.
Like, so they think anybody that's old is a boomer, and I even told them that, like, you know how ridiculous you sound, right? Like you don't even know what a boomer is. You don't even know what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh gosh. And I do, but I think about how, like, I thank God we didn't have social media when I was in high school. Same. High school was hard enough. I can't imagine going through it.
I know. And you know what? You know, another thing I don't like, when the kids are talking to their friends or have them on video chat and like, we have a whole thing, everything happen here, you know, like it's like they're here, but they're not here. Sometimes I walk around in my underwear and a t-shirt before bed, you know, like, oh, there's Memphis talking to Aubrey. Hey, stranger's kid in my living room.
I know.
Like, no, I know. So we've given them a time, like after this time, you cannot be on video, nothing with anybody.
Nothing. Yeah. I just think about all those people who had to do at home. Like David was one of them. They had to do different things online, you know, and I was in Weight Watchers for a little while too. That's how I lost a lot of my weight. And I'd set up everything and I'd be like, nobody walk like here. Cause like all these people can see you.
Oh, I just threatened all the kids. I'm like, listen, I better not hear dogs barking. No kids come to my room. And then Jake, I need you in here. Jake is sitting here like standing guard to make sure everybody's quiet. Otherwise, it would be every 30 seconds.
Yeah, they don't need me anymore, but this will be the time they come and say, oh, Mom.
Absolutely.
I'm like, I haven't seen you for 3 days. Now you want to talk?
Yep. And all of them, they'll all come.
Yeah. So it's been, I just know I would not want to be a teenager now. I absolutely would not.
No. No way.
I hated high school.
Bullying is a touchy subject with me because I feel like people use the term bullying like when someone is unkind to you or calls you a name. And so my kids will come off the bus. So-and-so was bullying me today. Like, listen, no, they were not. Kids are mean. People are mean to each other sometimes. That was not bullying.
Yeah.
You're like, just get over it, you know?
Yeah.
So
if it happened the one time, yeah. If it happened the one time, it's just like you said, you know, it's just the thing. But if it's consistent,
like you guys call each other that every day here at home, like that's not bullying at all. That's just being a human.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's just being. Yeah, no, I feel bad for these kids though, that the stuff that they get put online about them and everything, and it's just like it's so out of control. Like, holy cow! I'm
absolutely
grateful. Like, I mean, and we're the type of parents we say, give us your phone, and we look through it, you know, and stuff, and make sure that there's nothing on there that there shouldn't be, and that they're not doing something they shouldn't be, and someone's not sending them stuff they shouldn't be. So good night, Rem. Thanks for coming by. Oh, the edge of here. I just did a video of my single seed. Literally after I did the video, I walked back in a half hour later and I'm like, what's going on with you? I literally just did a video bragging about how well you were doing. So I put more dirt in, and I just think it needed a little more support.
Oh, good.
So, it looks a little leggy, but it's kind of hard to tell because it's a flower plant. Like it's calendula.
Right.
So you're a little bit.
I know. I keep wanting to like make my flower plants like building the dirt up to them, like I would with the vegetables, you know. But I have to keep like, okay, I'll just leave them.
Yeah. But it's doing well. Since I added more dirt, it's like puffed right up. The leaves are bigger on it, and my ground cherries have hardly grown. I mean, they're there, they're alive, but I swear to God, they haven't grown in 2 weeks. They don't look any bigger today.
I cannot get my chives to do anything. I don't even know why. Oh, I planted chives for market starts for people to buy them, but I cannot get them to do anything. They're like this big, and that's it. I don't know if there's some special something to growing chives, but I don't know.
And I've got chives in my herb garden that's the one thing that's growing right now. Like they're crazy.
Right. I have chives outside that are just going crazy.
Yeah. And edge of here, I see you're doing an onion. This is my first year doing onions from seed because apparently you'll get bigger onions. And I don't know what they're supposed to look like, but they look wimpy to me.
my bunking onions look wimpy too. I even told my brother, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know if I'm supposed to trim them down because they're really skinny and then they get really tall. And sometimes the ends of them are a little like brown. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah, mine are, I've been cutting them because they get so tall and then they start falling over. So I'm like, okay, they've had like 18 haircuts.
Or maybe onions are something that we need to just direct sow outside. You know what I mean?
Maybe. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
I got some Luffa seeds because I heard you talking about them and I've wanted them forever. Mm-hmm. And those have not germinated either. So I don't know if I need to soak those and do them that way. Or what?
This is my first year growing them. I never even knew you could grow loofah. Like I guess I was like everyone else. I always thought they came from the sea, right? I thought they were sea sponges. I didn't realize.
Right.
And mine say I have to start them around May 6th-ish.
Right, because their growing time is like really long.
Yeah. So edge of here is saying theirs are wimpy too. Last year I direct sowed and didn't get a single one. And then 2 years ago, I bought onions from our local nursery and planted them. Nothing happened with them. Like they didn't die, but they didn't grow.
Well, hopefully we'll get some. I don't know what the secret is. I've watched tons and tons of videos. I watch M.I. Gardner a lot. And who's that Australian guy that I watch? Self-Sufficient Me, I think is what his channel is. He's from Australia, so his climate is like tropical or whatever. But he grows really big, awesome onions too. And I guess they've never even said like, here's the secret to grow it, other than you need to start from seed versus the sets or whatever.
I think this is one of the things that I struggle with, that to me, I feel like I have to grow everything to be self-sufficient and self-reliant and everything. And I need to cut myself some slack and realize that it's okay to outsource from another farm who
Right.
maybe is growing onions a heck of a lot better, easier than I am, and buying a
Yeah.
whole bunch of them and preserving them the
I'm
way
way
I want.
stressing over these onions, you
Yes,
know?
like, that's what I'm like. And even my husband said, like, you know, like it's just so like I'm stressing over this when there's so many other things doing so well.
Right.
So I think I need to cut myself some slack and but then I'm so stubborn, I don't want to give up.
Sometimes when I just like, we have a graveyard that we just like throw stuff that I've given up on or that is not gonna live. My daughter's like, we should call it the live yard, because we literally will throw it out there and forget about it. We don't water it, we don't pick weeds, we don't do any of that. And everything we've thrown down there, eggplants, like everything has grown. So maybe I'll toss some seeds down in the graveyard and see what happens.
Yeah. Just want good night, Tracy. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate it. Who else was, and I was just reading here about a 7th grader. She was saying that because he was bullied and stuff, he killed himself yesterday at the bathroom. That is just like, I think the one thing I've always told my children, yes, it can be hard. And when you're going through it, it feels like it's never going to end. But high school is 4 years of your life. It's 4 years.
I always tell them, like, these people, you are not going to know them. You're not going to know who they are. You're not going to recognize them. They're going to be bald and fat and miserable. Like, you're not going to even know them. So it doesn't matter what they say.
Yeah. Like, and, you know, and it's, you know, when suicide happens, it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Right.
No. Right. And once you do it, you can't, it's very,
and I don't like that.
Okay, I'm alive. Okay. Thank you, Edge of Here. I didn't realize I better, say that. But not to get into too, deep a topic or whatever. But yeah.
Well, I think that because it's trending, even though it's not something that I feel should ever be trending, but it absolutely is. That doesn't help anything, because kids instantly think that like this is what I need to do because Susie and I fought today at school.
Yeah. Yeah. And it breaks your heart. And I just, I know the last couple of years have been horrible on our children's mental health. Like, oh yeah. Like it's been, and we joke about how we're not real social and stuff. We're not. Our son, he loved going to physical school. Online school was a nightmare for him. Our daughter, she thrived. She did the best online. Her last year and a half of high school was the best year she ever had.
Yeah. Our daughters are the same way. It's the same way. The boys want to go to school. The girls like being at home. Yeah.
I mean, Aiden's our athlete. Like he's
Memphis is too. All the boys are, but Memphis especially.
He loves running. Running is a great sport for Aiden because team sports are hard for him with his threats and everything. And running, you're not really relying on, unless you're on the relay team, but it's good for him and he loves it. And he does cross country in the fall. And now we're in track and field time, which is exhausting because mom's picking him up from practices and all the meets and stuff. But, we promised him when we moved out here because we knew we were gonna, his bus ride's 20-25 minutes alone. Just to his school. Yeah. We promised him that, if we move out to the country, you guys, anything you want to join, we will make sure you can get to them. Like 'cause my husband grew up in the country and his bus ride home was like 45 minutes, I think.
Oh yeah.
An hour. He just yelled an hour. And they had no after school bus when he was younger, so he couldn't join anything. Because he knew he had to take the bus home and his parents worked. They couldn't come get him and stuff. Yeah. So, he said, if we move out to the country, we got to make sure the kids can still get to their events and stuff. So that was a promise. I mean, thank God, we're not an hour and a half or anything. So.
No, but we're right outside of town, And it's still, it's a lot. Like, they'll be like, can we go to the skate park? Can we do this? I'm like, no, like anytime we go into town, it's like 30 minutes. And they're like, it takes just a couple minutes to get there. Like, yes, but getting there, getting out, getting in the truck, like the whole process takes forever. And so
and then poor thing, and then he's got a mom who just, I'd rather just stay home, but I'll, I love my kid, so I'll do it. But, Edge of Here. I know I think I'm going to try and promise myself to stop stressing over the onions. If they don't work,
I'm going to throw mine in the graveyard. I'm totally going to do that and see what happens.
I'm going to just let them go like they are, and I will put them out there in, May or whatever, after the chance of frost and stuff. I'll plant them, and fingers crossed, we'll see how they go. And if they don't go, I'll put my energy into the things that are doing well.
And we're not the only ones that have problems with them. There's lots of people that do not grow the onions.
I know. I watch Jessica at Three Rivers Homestead, and she's doing onions from seeds this year too. And she was saying how like, she said, gosh, they seem so thin.
Right.
and maybe
you just
maybe
it's like grass.
Maybe they're supposed to look like that.
Maybe.
It seems like enough of us have them. And Edgy here, my daughter didn't really have a graduation from high school either. I took it harder than she did.
Oh yeah. The parents were big hurt about it. I think because the kids didn't know what they were missing, Yeah.
For me, being a military family, we know a family is going to miss almost every big thing in our kids' lives.
Right.
But high school graduation, because you have so long to plan for it, high school graduation is something they'll be able to be there for. So when that happened and they couldn't be, it broke me. It really did. I spiraled down last summer, and I was just, I'm like, I just was so upset because, I'm like, they're not even going to get to see you. And Grace could have cared less because she didn't want to be in front of people anyway. And accepting, she was like, I'm fine with it. But it broke my heart. It really did. Yeah. I just, and for, my parents, to miss out on it and stuff, it was sad. It really was for me. So
it is.
It's hard, but we got through it. And like I said, she could have cared less. So
now we don't even think about it. I was thinking about that today because we go all the places. I don't know if you guys still have restrictions there, but it used to be such a thing that we were scared, because we didn't want to die. We didn't go the places, and we sanitized everything. And now it's back to normal. It's it never happened almost.
Yeah. No, I know. Now we're pretty much back to normal here for the most part. There's still a few places we have to, do that. I don't know what the rules are on here, so I don't want to say too much.
I don't know either.
But it's starting to feel a little bit more normal here. So that is, we're still having supply chain issues with stuff though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're still seeing, and I don't know at this point if they're not even making this thing anymore, a certain product.
And I thought at first it was because they would take one factory that made crackers, let's just say, and they would take that factory in order to make the sanitation and the face coverings and stuff. They would use that factory instead of making crackers. They would use that factory to produce, mass produce these things that we needed. And that's what I thought at first. So I don't know. I don't know why it's a supply chain issue.
Yeah. I mean, and diesel here. Whew, the price of diesel is so high.
Our gas is very high. Yeah.
All gas is. And I mean, they were saying on the news here how the average Canadian family of 4 is going to spend about $1,000 more this year in food. And I call a big giant BS to that, because we're only in April, not quite May. And we're already seeing about $200 more a month since January. So we're already past 1,000. So, and then when we have a special needs child who has dietary issues and only eats certain things.
Right.
And then we're having a very hard time finding those things. It's very stressful.
Moms can't find formula for their babies. And it makes me so mad. Then you find these crunchy moms that are then you should breastfeed. Why did you just say that? Why would you say that right now? This lady cannot feed her baby. Why would you make her feel bad like that?
Yeah. And, there's probably a reason why, because not to get too personal, I had issues.
Me too. I couldn't do it. I tried. I just couldn't.
I tried. My nurses were like, Lynn, I have to hand it to you. You have tried so much longer than I ever would have. Because
and once you're in the part of needing formula, there's no going back. It's not like you can just reverse, let me do it this way instead now, because I can't get formula.
You're hormonal to begin with, and then the things that have given me problems my whole life, because they they don't do what they're supposed to.
Right.
It was hard. So for someone to say that, it makes me mad, because you don't know that woman's situation.
Right.
You know, so.
And why would anybody feel so comfortable to say something like that to anyone, much less a stranger that cannot find food for their baby? That's so mean.
Yeah. The things that people feel they can say to people shock me.
Same.
Like just full out shock me.
Yeah.
Mary Lynn, holy cow, $22 for 2 chicken breasts. Wow. That is insane.
Oh, is that for real? Chicken is usually pretty cheap here. I don't go get the groceries. Jake does it. I just tell him how much to spend.
It's going up because of
he said whole chickens here are $15.
Wow, that's
high
for
them for like $4.
You used to, yeah.
Here in the nation, it is called another 2 million birds this morning.
Yeah, I was going to say the price of chicken's going to go through the roof because of the avian flu. It really is.
Oh my goodness.
I'm glad I have that. We still have almost all of our quarter pig that we bought in January because I was eating. We've been eating all the pork that we bought from Costco when it was on sale. So I haven't really touched it other than all the bacon. All the bacon's gone.
Yeah. Have you ever canned pork? Have you ever pressure canned pork?
I haven't. I mean, I did turkey soup. I did that had meat in it, but I haven't pressure canned just meat yet. That's on my to-do list. I do want to try.
When we were kids, that was my favorite thing that my grandparents would can is pork. Like so good. You literally just pop the lid and just eat it with a fork. Just is so delicious. If you ever get a chance, just can it. It's so good.
I am going to definitely try canning. I want to try that. I want to try making up my sloppy Joe mix with everything. So all we have to do is pop a can and we're ready to go. And it's things I want to try. So I definitely want to, and I want to try canning beans, like kidney beans, because I'm growing kidney beans this year, kidney beans and black beans. I've never done it before. So we'll see how
I'm always so mad at my bean production. I feel like that, like for chickpeas, for example, I found out that I can grow chickpeas here, but one chickpea only produces 4 to 6 chickpeas. So it just makes me really mad. Like, is it worth it to plant this? You know?
Yeah. And for me, I mean, chickpeas, at least they still are. That's one of the most economical things here to buy. So it's like, oh, really? Put all my time and energy into dry. And we don't use them as often because not everybody likes them in the family. So, but we love, my husband and I love black beans. And we love kidney beans because I do a lot of chilies and soups and stuff in the winter. So I've never grown them before. We'll see how we do. Honest to gosh, it never even entered my mind it was something you could even grow. I just never, I'm like, I can grow kidney beans and black beans? Seriously?
Yeah. It would be cool if we could grow rice. I watched a video on growing rice, and you definitely can't. Oh, I mean, you could, but not in a large scale because it just takes like a lot of water, like tons of water.
I know my YouTube friends that I watch, Mike and Angie at Me and You Acres. They, I think, are trying rice this year.
Nice. I want to go see how their progress is because if they can grow it, I even grew our chickpeas under our tree, like. Have you ever watched the Back to Eden Garden Method with Paul Gacci? I'm going to send you the link. It is, he grows everything. Like he grows all the things. He grows them under his trees. He's like, just because we were taught that you're not supposed to grow things under trees because of the shade, like do it anyways. I grew potatoes under my trees last year. No sun, 0 sun, and still got lots of potatoes. Grew my chickpeas under my trees. Crazy.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm growing, I'm doing potatoes again this year. I did purple potatoes last year in the potato just to try them. And they were good, but they froze terrible. Like we were trying to eat them and they just really like mealy. And I don't think it was a good potato to freeze. So I'm trying to decide whether to grow them in. I have some Rubbermaid totes that like the lids have all broke off. So I'm just going to drill some holes in the bottom. Yeah. I thought I'd grow some of them. And I might buy some bags too, because if I have to buy like more totes, the totes are ridiculous. Talk about something that's gone up. They're like $18, $20 a piece now for one of those Rubbermaid totes. I'm like, no. And so I've got Irish cobbler potatoes. They just came in the mail the other day. I can't remember what the other one's called. And then I have to stay out of the garden centers. I just got to stay
if I went to them, it would be lights out. I would Jake would take the money away from me. I have to like seed save most of my stuff, and I'll like mention the things I want, and he'll get them.
Yeah. So we went to Lowe's, and we were just looking around because we were going there for a couple specific things, and they had the white strawberries plants, which
those are cool.
And they had, I've never seen these before, and I bought a bag of them to try them. They're pink potatoes.
Nice.
They're called ambrosia potato. They're Canadian, I guess. And I'm like, okay, I gotta try those.
Yeah, like, that'll be really cool.
And apparently they make amazing mashed or fried, it said. So I'm like, okay. So yeah, Aiden lives off of potato. Like,
yep, my oldest daughter loves potatoes. Potatoes everything.
So yeah, edge of here, the grow bags Becky bought. Yeah, that's kind of what I bought last year, and I've been looking at like the 20-gallon ones because I know I can put a lot more because I have a lot of seed potatoes now.
Same. Me too. I already put mine out.
I couldn't find any, and then of course we go out, and now they're popping up everywhere because we couldn't.
Yeah.
We had a problem here in PEI with potato blight or something, and it went a little crazy. But now they're popping up everywhere. So of course I went and ordered some online. Now they're coming in, and I'm like, darn it! I guess I didn't have to, but
right.
Yeah, I'm gonna do them. I'm excited because that's one thing we definitely go through a lot of here. So. Got a growing tower. Is that the growing tower, Jean? Is that the thing you can keep inside? Or is it
it's that stackable, like green, what is that, green vine or whatever?
Yeah, green
stalk. What it's called? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I want to get, I wanted to get a couple for strawberries. I want to dig mine right up out of the ground and put them in that instead.
They have them at Dollar Tree, not like a kit, but just like each little section, they're like $1. I don't know if you guys have Dollar Tree there.
Yeah, we don't
have Dollar Tree here, so I only get to look at these cool things that people do with Dollar Tree stuff. But they have, each section is only $1, so you could build a big old tower for $10.
Yeah, if I can find, I know they had them last year, and of course I didn't think about buying them because I thought,
right.
I'm hoping they have them because I will buy because they are. I've already spent so much money between grow lights and pots and everything.
The good thing is you don't have to buy grow lights and heat mats and stuff. Well, I mean, unless you expand more, but you haven't had to buy that stuff for a few years, so that's
right. Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, that's why I said in one of my videos this year it's going to be a little bit more cha-ching, but I know over the next 5 I won't have to buy as much. So but and we need more raised beds. Like I suck at math because apparently I read the measurements. I don't understand what they are. So I'm not buying any more stainless steel ones. We've been stockpiling like scrap wood. So David's going to make me a few out of wood. And then at the end of the season, because they've gone up in price since I bought them. So I'm going to wait and see. But Jean couldn't get them at the Dollar Tree. Yeah, I remember seeing.
I bet they're sold out. They like show them everywhere.
Yeah, I know I saw them last summer, but I'll have to check and see if they've got them. It could be a supply chain thing too.
Right, yeah, very much so.
Might not see them. So, okay, well, we've been on for an hour and almost 20 minutes, so I think we'll wrap it up. I know my son has to check a little bit of homework, so he probably wants the internet back.
Right? My kids are probably like, please be done.
Yeah, so he just wants to check in with us, make sure he got everything, because when he has practice and stuff, sometimes he misses the last few minutes.
Oh, yeah.
So he wants to make sure and our internet stinks unless just one of us is on. And even then when only one of us is on, it is still not the greatest.
Same.
So,
thank you so much for doing this.
Well,
it was way
awesome.
awesome.
So much. I'm so glad it went off without a hitch this week. Yay. So I'm definitely going to be doing more lives. It's fun. I enjoy doing them. And I don't know if I'll do them weekly because it's getting really busy. It's kind of hard, but yes, Jean, I'm so glad. And I hope everything goes well for your great niece and everything. She has a happy, healthy baby. And that's so exciting. I miss little ones sometimes.
Oh yeah. I'm all ready for grandbabies. Like I'm okay with it. Like just make it happen. It's okay.
So I told my husband, I need a puppy. Like give me a puppy so I can have that baby urge going again. All right. Thank you, Mary Lynn, for mod. Luckily, I don't think we needed it. I didn't see anything, but I've been busy. So hopefully no trolls came in. And everyone have a great weekend. I hope the weather is going to be great wherever you guys are. We're supposed to be. So I'm hoping I can
fingers crossed.
Plant carrot seeds this weekend. So all right, everyone. Good night. Thanks for coming. Thank you, Tanya. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you, Lynn.
All right. We'll talk soon.
All right, bye.